The one to watch. This is 16 WAPT News at 5.
Good morning on this Friday, July 25th. This morning, a double robbery chase is under investigation in the capital city, Marcus.
Yeah, Keegan, it is. And officers think they may have caught up with the man who may be behind all of this. The evidence they found after a chase went from the road into the woods. And also, developing this morning, a missing plane that crashed in Africa has been found. This after the disasters in the air has made headlines all week long.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside using our South Jackson Sky Cam. The sun is just barely lighting up the sky at this moment. Let's check in with Adam McWilliams for weather first.
It's the day, Keegan, where I'm having to check the calendar to make sure it is late July. Temperatures are very cool, especially in the northern part of the state this morning. Over to live Storm Chill 16 Doppler radar, clean scan across the area. And look at the wind direction out of the north at about 5 miles per hour. Over to the weather maps, that's helping to usher in some less humid air. Look at these dew point temperatures in the lower 60s, feeling very nice in the northern part of the state, and that air is filtering into central Mississippi. But Natchez and Macomb, you have to wait a while for that less humid air to filter in down your way. Dew point temperatures this morning still muggy in the lower 70s. And check out these temperatures across the region. Upper 60s right now for Vicksburg and Raymond, 71 for Jackson. As we zoom out, look at these numbers. 57 degrees this morning in Oxford, 63 for Tupelo, 64 degrees for Greenville. It's going to be hot today, but the less humid air will be filtered in throughout the day, making it feel very nice, especially for late July. Highs today near 92 degrees.
Well, happening right now, the sales tax holiday is officially underway. It kicked off right after midnight. 16 WAPT's Emily Alexander joins us live from the outlet malls in Pearl with the details. Emily?
Marcus, it's just in time for that back-to-school shopping. Today and tomorrow, shoppers can buy certain items for tax-free. That includes clothes and shoes costing less than $100 per item. But there are a lot of items that are not included in the sales tax holiday weekend. Take a look at the list here on your screen. Accessories such as jewelry, handbags, wallets, watches, and backpacks do not apply. Neither do school supplies or computers. But still, a lot of savings to be had this weekend, and the sales tax holiday goes from now until midnight on Saturday. Live in Pearl, Emily Alexander, 16 WAPT News.
All right, thank you so much, Emily, for that report. An exciting day it is. Also happening today, the Neshoba County Fair gets underway, Keegan.
Marcus, it runs through next weekend. The fair is also known as a big political event. U.S. Senator Thad Cochran's campaign says he will speak at the fair next week and officially launch his re-election campaign. His opponent, Democrat Travis Childers, is also scheduled to speak at the fair. And speaking of politics, there's no ruling yet in a lawsuit following Senator Cochran's runoff win over challenger Chris McDaniel. The group True the Vote was in federal court in Jackson yesterday. It wants access to voters' birth dates. The state Supreme Court ruled last week that information is to be kept private. The group is looking for illegal crossover votes in the Republican runoff. True the Vote is suing 9 Mississippi counties.
For my client, True the Vote, and the other plaintiffs, this is all about election integrity. And it's not about the outcome. It's about making sure that every vote counts and every legal vote counts fully and legally.
Yesterday, the judge in the True the Vote lawsuit did not say when she'll make a ruling. Meanwhile, the Mississippi Supreme Court says it will not reconsider the request to view voting records, including that personal information. Jackson police are questioning a man they believe could be behind a double robbery and a chase. We were on the scene yesterday evening when officers caught up with that man. They found cash and bullets in his pockets. JPD says an armed man robbed the Little Caesars on McDowell Road and then Dollar General next door. After a high-speed chase, the getaway car crashed a few blocks away. Officers caught up with the man running in the woods. And crime was one of the many issues Jackson Mayor Tony Yarber addressed in his State of the City speech.
Although we have deficiencies and issues, we must tackle our problems and concerns with optimism that can and will make us better.
Mayor Yarber spoke to a packed house at Thalia Mar Hall last night. He talked about economic development, education, the lack of jail space, and the need for more officers. He even touched on the death of a 67-year-old woman killed last week after she called 911.
We know that crime, violent crime in particular, is a key issue and a concern to many of the citizens in our great city. When a 3-year-old child is killed in his own home, or a 67-year-old woman is killed in her own home. That will not be tolerated.
If you would like to read the mayor's full State of the City address, you can click on this story at WAPT.com. Meanwhile, there's an investigation into that crime Mayor Yarber referred to, the killing of 67-year-old Helen Harrion. They're trying to determine if authorities properly responded to Harrion's 911 call. The woman called to report a prowler. Police knocked on her door but left when no one answered. Family members found her body afterwards. Jackson police are looking for the men who are suspected of raping a woman at a gas station. Surveillance video shows the woman frantically asking for help. This is at the Shell station on Daniel Lake Boulevard. The woman's attorney says 2 men pointed guns at her, took her cell phone, and ripped off her clothes. The attorney says a 3rd man was also involved.
When she was felt a gun at the back of her head, and at that point tried to turn around and was stopped and was told to take off her clothes. Then she felt a gun in her side. So then she was raped by 3 men.
The woman's attorney claims the clerk never called 911 despite video which appears to show the worker making a phone call. Investigators in Canton are trying to identify a body. Police say the badly decomposed body of a black male was found behind a home on Boyd Street. They don't know how he died. Investigators say they believe it could be 23-year-old Nick Nichols. Family members say they reported him missing last week. Well, this morning, Ridgeland's new police chief officially begins his first day. Randy Tyler is the new chief. Yesterday was former Chief Jimmy Houston's last day after 12 years. He turned in his resignation back in May. Houston plans to help build a criminal justice program at Holmes Community College and will start teaching there in 2 weeks. Houston says he's leaving the department in good hands.
Randy's been my assistant chief for 12 years. Very, very smart young man. He will be just fine.
So you're feeling good about it?
Oh, I feel real good about it. It's in good hands.
Tyler has worked with the department since 1987. He served as interim chief from May through September 2011. Developing this morning, the wreckage of the Air Algérie jet has been found in Africa, Marcus.
Yes, it has, Keegan, and this is the 3rd air disaster in just 1 week. All 116 passengers on board believed to be dead. ABC's Susan Sawney has the latest.
The scene feels eerily familiar. A lost passenger plane, this time over Africa. Anguished family and friends gathered, desperate for information. Overnight, the authorities from several countries confirmed that wreckage had been found. The plane, an Air Algérie MD-83 carrying 116 people, crashed on Thursday in severe weather over the strife-torn country of Mali. About 50 minutes into the flight, the pilots wanted to change course. According to the French, the jet disappeared. This shows what the plane was heading into: strong storms.
It's likely to be a combination of the weather and the pilots not being able to react to the weather.
But the French foreign minister wouldn't rule out any cause. Among the possibilities, terrorism. Mali is home to an Al-Qaeda affiliate. But while they may have shoulder-launched missiles like these, they can't reach a jet at high altitude, where the MD-83 was flying. Travelers may be concerned about air safety, given the recent spate of grim aviation accidents.
It makes you think twice about stuff.
In March, Malaysia 370 goes missing over the Indian Ocean. Last week, Malaysia 777 shot down over Ukraine, bodies still being recovered. And just Wednesday, a plane crashed on a Taiwanese island in a typhoon, killing 48.
The whole picture is that flying remains far safer than you even getting in the car and driving to the grocery store.
Nearly half of the Air Algérie passengers were French, many on their way home from Africa. Susan Sawney, ABC News, Washington.
Happening today, President Barack Obama will host Central American leaders at the White House to discuss the ongoing border crisis. They will be talking about the flood of kids from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras coming into the U.S. on the border. In the meantime, Congress remains deadlocked over the immigration legislation. We'll have much more on this coming up a little bit later from our Washington newsroom. And also developing this morning, at least 2 people were killed at a Virginia campground after a tornado touched down, Keegan.
Marcus, cleanup is still underway this morning. It happened yesterday evening at the Cherrystone campground on Chesapeake Bay. A tree fell on a New Jersey couple's tent. They were killed and their 13-year-old son was gravely injured. Some RVs were overturned. Others were hit by downed trees. At least 3 dozen injuries are reported. Well, speaking of the weather, let's take a live look outside at Pearl this morning from our Haley Tower Skycam. Could we see rain this weekend? Meteorologist Adam McWilliams has your full forecast next.
The people need you.
I am no hero.
And The Rock takes on the role of Hercules, but there's a lot more than action adventure showing at the movies this weekend. We'll tell you what's now showing coming up. It's 5:41. You're watching 16.